Hello, this is Ava. Welcome to Soul GPS. In today's video, I wanted to give you 3 tips on how to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, also physically, if you're going to be sharing these holidays with a narcissist. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love for you to do so and hit the bell button too for updates and notifications from this channel. So what to do if you have identified a family member, perhaps your partner is a narcissist, or there's someone with whom you're going to have to share the holiday table. What to do? Well, the first thing that I would like for you to do and focus on is you. It is caring for yourself. It is making time to take a break, to catch a breath, and to nurture yourself. It is very important to have this mentality because, as you know, these people take a lot out of us. So we have to find a way to replenish the well before it gets too drained, before it gets too empty. So I'd like for you to make time for self-care. Now, if things are too crazy, I know how it is. Like, the date is fast approaching. It's only a handful of days from now. And there's so much to do. It's an endless list. Well, if you can't do it before the holidays, plan something for yourself after the holidays, maybe even in January. But if you can at least take a walk by yourself, if you can have some time to write in your diary, if you can snuggle under a blanket and read a good book, if you can do anything like that, or go out with a friend and just sit with him or her and have tea and have a good talk, that can be very helpful. So find a way to give yourself a boost. If you're spending the holidays alone, know that it is okay. I know a lot of people who've done it, and I've done part of it myself. And actually, what it made me think about is that we can redefine what the holidays mean for us. It doesn't have to be the same thing that it's always been. We can change it and make it something different, make it something unique. Maybe, even if you don't want to spend it alone, maybe there's an opportunity to volunteer and spend time with people who will really appreciate your presence, who will really appreciate what you have to give. Or maybe it's a good time to book the spa. I remember I once spent my birthday that way. I decided I didn't want to have a party. All I wanted to do was to go for like 6 hours and relax by myself. And I remember I slept so well that night. I was so relaxed. I don't think I've ever been relaxed this much in my entire life. So there are many things you can do, but you don't have to think that the fact that you're spending the holidays by yourself is somehow something absolutely horrible. It isn't. It's really whatever you make it to be. Now, if you're spending your holidays with children and you have been recently divorced, let's say, or maybe you're still with a partner, but it's just gotten so bad that you know that you're not going to last a minute with this person under the same roof, it's okay to plan it separately. Many people do that, and children might be confused by it, they might be upset by it. Some of them may understand and may be old enough to explain to them now, why it is, why you've made that choice. Some of them might be too young, and they will understand later down the road. But trust yourself here, and if you feel like you need this time for yourself, because this way you'll be able to keep it calm and you'll be able to make this a time of as much peace and rest and joy as it's possible, then do that. Then follow your inner compass and do what you think is right. You can also spend the holidays with friends. I know of many instances where I've known people who didn't know till the last minute what they're going to do, and then in the end they ended up being invited to one of the coolest parties ever and had an amazing time. Maybe you can organize something too if you right now it looks like you're going to be alone, or maybe it's something you can think about in the future. Sometimes, and myself included, we sit and we wait, especially if we're feeling lonely, if we're feeling bitter and numb after what had happened. We may sit and brood and feel like, nobody wants to invite us, nobody wants us. Well, you know what? There are people out there feeling the same. So maybe you could be that person who ends up bringing others together just unexpectedly. You can always create a potluck and have some fun and games, and it can turn out to be a really, really fabulous time. And if you have to be with the family, if there's just no other choice, then you just have to, you know, sort of suck it up, as they say. Take a deep breath, and I'll give you strategies next, and the next point on what to do. But I still want to come back to self-care, because if you are going to have to spend time with those people, and you know you're going to feel drained and really bad the next day, then plan for it. You know, maybe have a queue of some great shows you've always wanted to see on Netflix. Maybe, you know, plan a massage the next day, that next morning. Maybe go to a cafe. Maybe go do that walk you've always wanted to do. And maybe do something, anything that's going to make you feel like, I'm really looking forward to it. While you're sitting at that table and are being forced to take it, you know, there's something to look forward to. So remember self-care. It's very important. Put it on the top of your list if you can. So the second tip I have is deals around boundaries. It's like nothing new, right? Of course, it's going to be about self-care. It's going to be about boundaries. And so let's talk about this, right? So one thing that you have in your arsenal, in your power, is your time. You are the one who's in charge of your time. So if you have to show up at this party that you don't want to show up, you can come in for a short time, do what you need to do, say hello to everyone, and before things get out of control, because you already know how things are going to go, right? Like, there's not much guesswork around it. You may hope it's going to be different. Usually it isn't. This is more about this in point 3. You know, just give them an hour, maybe 2. And again, once things get too much and people get, you know, a little tipsy and they start, you know, digging for trouble and saying things, you are out of there. And you can say you have a commitment. You know, you don't have to tell them what it is. You have a commitment to yourself. You want to care for yourself, you know, and they don't need to know the details. We don't need to always over-explain what we're doing. We can just say, I'm busy, I gotta go somewhere else, right? And, you know, if you worry about them talking behind your back after you leave, they're gonna talk. People are always gonna talk. You know, I remember so many instances in my life when I would be, where if I were to worry about this, including launching this channel, I knew people are gonna watch it. I knew my family would watch it. I knew my friends would watch it. I knew people would be talking about it. You know, I come from a very small town. Everybody knows each other. I knew it. But you know what? So it's out of my control. I didn't care. Instead, because I have wild imagination, I just imagined it being actually very positive. So even if it's not true, I just thought, you know what? They're probably saying something nice, you know, that I'm helping people and that I'm courageous to talk about this. And if they don't, I don't want to know about it. So, you know, just expect that people are going to talk about you. Don't worry about what they're going to say. Take a deep breath, walk out of that door, and begin the next chapter of the holiday, right? The other thing you can do is just excuse yourself from conversations. If, you know, a lot of the times it's like we're standing in circles, people are chatting, and, you know, if someone starts to make like a comment that you feel is going to be hurtful, because you can feel it coming, you can say, you know what? I'll be right back. I need to go get something. And you just go to the bathroom and roll your eyes. I actually really like this. This is such a silly trick, but it's actually a cool trick, that when you know that people are going to say something hurtful, before you let it get into your heart and provoke tears, just go, roll your eyes. You know, it's like a postural thing. When we stand up straighter, we feel more confident. When we slouch, we feel more tired and more invisible. Or another trick is, you know, you put a pencil in between your teeth, and actually it activates neurons in your brain that are active when you're smiling. So it just floods your body with positivity. These little tricks, and I notice that with rolling my eyes, you know, I do it in private, I don't do it in front of people. It helps me to diffuse and look at a situation as, okay, this is silly, this is childish. Because narcissists are childish, let's face it, you know, they are emotionally stunted. They haven't grown past that point where we all are narcissists at the age of 2 and 3, when we think that there's no one else in the world but us, and everyone's supposed to feed us and care for us and play with us. You know, narcissists sort of stay in that zone, and because growing past it is, you know, it requires some skill set and guidance. But more about it maybe in another video. So you can excuse yourself. What else? I'm just looking at my notes here. Walk away from conversations. So I said that. Gray rocking. right? Gray rock. If you haven't seen a video on this that I made, you can check it out. I will link it down below. And there's a ton of great information online about gray rock. But basically, what I equate it with, because people have some confusion about it, is boredom, is being boring. So it's the opposite of what narcissist seeks and what the narcissist does, because they want to shine, they want to glow, they want to be in the center of attention. Be okay with sort of withdrawing back, taking yourself out of the picture, or not having much to say. And they ask you, okay, so what's new with you? What's going on? You know, they're fishing for information. You can just say, nothing much, everything's, you know, it's good, it's good. I just read a really good book. You know, they hate reading. I say, I just read this really good book. You know, do you want to hear about it? Oh, well, maybe. And, you know, and then you just make them not want to talk to you anymore because you sound boring. Now, don't take the reaction that you're going to get from the outside as, okay, well, this is obviously not interesting personally. So you don't, if that's your insecurity, you know, that you're not interesting or something, because that's what the narcissist made you think at some point. You know, people feed others, destructive people, and sometimes even accidentally, people feed each other with all sorts of negative comments. Again, sometimes they do it while under pressure, and they don't mean it. Sometimes they really mean it. So, but these are usually these, you know, these little sentences that we just get so attached to, and then they make us feel so devastated about ourselves. So this is an opportunity to be like, hey, I'm being strategic about this. I'm doing this because I'm choosing. And by the way, I know I'm a very interesting person. I'm very smart. And when I'm with the right people in the right environment, that's when I shine. This is VIP access only. If somebody wants to really get to know me, that person's going to have to be very special. And if they're going to be talking behind my back, if they're going to be, you know, making snide comments and remarks, I'm going to give them nothing. So be proud of that. Be proud of you having made that choice, and be also excited that it's working, right? Because you just stumbled across something that you can use to your advantage with the narcissist. So practice gray rock. And finally, one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to boundaries is gifts, right? Gifts, because this can be so such a rich topic. Go with your heart, you know, go with your heart, go with what feels right. If they're disappointed with how little you gave them, again, roll your eyes, it's silly. If they give you something that you're disappointed with because it was obviously, you know, just picked up at a drugstore, again, roll your eyes, don't take it personally. So go with your heart, and if you feel this pressure and expectation to buy very lavish and expensive gifts, and you know that nobody ever really appreciates them anyway, go with much less and take the rest and either invest it in yourself or in someone or something that you really care about and believe in, and you'll feel much better for it. One more note about gifts and kids, and this is not just about holidays, it extends beyond it. This has been a topic that's come up a lot in my coaching lately. You know, people are saying that the husband is, or the wife, but it's usually the husband, is very wealthy, and after the divorce, when the children, you know, spend split time between the two homes, the husband seems to buy the kids with, you know, with gifts, buys them toys, buys them clothes, buys them phones, and all sorts of gadgets, and then, you know, they end up wanting to spend more time with the dad, and the mom feels abandoned and sad because she can't do as much, right? And again, you can flip it. It could be the wife that's buying and the husband that feels inadequate in this case. So here too, I want you to take a deep breath, because here's the deal. And I remember myself when I was younger, though I didn't have much when I was growing up, so the smallest thing made me very happy, but maybe more observing kids in America, because that's where I spent majority of my adult life. They have so much stuff, and they get so bored so quickly. It's fun for a moment, and then they forget about it. You know how it is. You know, you play with it, something, and then you put it away, because it's like, it's no longer novelty. For us adults, it could be a new car. We love it for a month or two, and then it just becomes a car, right? So it's the same with kids. It wears out. What lasts is the warmth. It's the feeling. I mean, think about it yourself. If you had parents who were like polar opposites to each other, where one made you feel really good and like you wanted to spend time with them because you felt safe, you felt loved, versus the other person. You know, kids aren't stupid. They get it. They feel it. They may not be able to articulate it or express it, so you may worry, but rest assured that they know what's going on, they can feel it, and if there is a bond between you, bond of trust, bond of respect and kindness, that's priceless. So don't worry about the gifts. Just keep doing your thing, keep loving them, and you'll see how that will pay off in the long run. And the third tip I want to give you, and it's going to be a short one, but it really kind of sums it all up, and it's really important that I want you to remember this, because it's almost like the first thing, right, to remember. Okay, here it is. Adjust your expectations. You know, don't think that because now is a new opportunity, you know, this is how healthy people think. It's like, oh, this is a new opportunity, it's a new year coming, I'm gonna do all these new things, right? It's always like this time's a time of death and renewal in most traditions, is we're letting something go and we're beginning something new. It's a time of celebration, time of wrapping things up. You know, maybe death sounds too serious, but in a sense it is, because it's winter time, right? So we are withdrawing, we are hibernating, and we're sowing seeds for something new to come. So you can use this time exactly for that. Let go of your expectations so that you're not disappointed if they do what they always do again. It's best to come prepared, you know, so when you're sitting at that dinner table, you already know what's gonna happen, what they're gonna do. You already know this, so just kind of confirm it in your head. That's also going to give you a boost of confidence because you're prepared, because you know what's going on. You're not operating in the dark anymore. You are actually in tune with yourself and with what's going on, and you ought to be proud of yourself for knowing this. So lower your expectations, adjust them, focus on yourself, on your self-care, and on the people who really are there, who are really loving. If they cross your boundaries, walk away, remove yourself from the situations. And if they do something silly and say something like a child would say in a sandbox, just roll your eyes and let it roll off your shoulders. So I hope that this was a helpful video for you. I would love to hear what you have to say, comments, questions, shares. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much for helping each other. I have been spending a bit of more time on the comments lately. School is wrapping up, so I have more time. And it's just so lovely to see you all supporting each other. I just love that. So let's keep growing this community. Share this video with anyone who you think may benefit. And I am sending you lots of warmth straight from my heart, from a really, really cold England, really cold and really dark England. But the warmth is here, the light is here, and I'm sending it all to you. So know you're not alone if you happen to feel that way. We're all here together, forming this visible, energetic net of love and unity. So lots of love. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.